Hey everybody, it's John from the Hustle Daily Show. Before we get into the show today, did you know that HubSpot launched an AI chatbot that helps you build awesome campaigns at scale with just a few prompts? It's called Campaign Assistant, and it's a totally free-to-use AI tool made for marketers and business leaders who spend hours a day on content creation. Campaign Assistant will transform the way that you build marketing campaigns at scale. Craft personalized emails, ads, and landing pages in just a matter of minutes. Just pick the content type, add the key selling points, and let the AI take it from there. And the best part, it works seamlessly with all of HubSpot's marketing and sales tools to scale your output across email, social, and more. So AI your way into the most effective campaigns yet at HubSpot.com/campaign-assistant.
Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, September 22nd. I'm Mark Dent here with Juliet, Bennett, Rylah, and you're listening to the Hustle Daily Show. Today, we're going to be talking about branded residences. In case you're not rich and living in Miami or Los Angeles, that means buildings that are based around a luxury brand's aesthetic. And companies ranging from Four Seasons to Porsche to Nobu are getting in on this trend. But before you start Googling around and planning out your move into a building owned by Bentley, let's cover a few other things that are making headlines in the world of business and tech. All right, starting off, this first one is for Succession fans. Rupert Murdoch has said that he will step down as chairman of the board of News Corp and Fox Corp. The move comes months after Fox paid $787.5 million to settle election defamation claims made by Dominion Voting System. Murdoch is 92 years old. That's about a decade older than Logan Roy from the TV show. And his son, Lakeland Murdoch, will now be sole chairman for News Corp. Moving on, Anheuser-Busch said that it's going to stop cutting the tails of the Clydesdale horses that have been featured in its ads for decades. This tail clipping practice can harm the animals, and it's been under fire from PETA for a pretty long time. So this is good news for animal lovers. Juliet, we were chatting before this, and you were just wondering, why does Budweiser even have these animals to begin with?
Right. I have vivid memories of the TV being on and seeing these horses running in slow motion. But why? What do they have to do with one another?
Yeah, so I actually have visited the Anheuser-Busch brewery in St. Louis.
Oh, wow.
The brand kind of claims that one of the Busch kids gave August Busch a gift of a 6-horse Clydesdale hitch to commemorate the repeal of Prohibition.
Oh, wow.
So dates back to the 1930s. They celebrated the fact that they could sell beer again by having horses and keeping them literally right outside the brewery. All right, let's go on to OpenAI, which just released DALL-E 3, and that's the third version of its generative AI platform. It now allows users to convert written prompts to images directly into ChatGPT. So this is like integration between kind of the two biggest AI programs for now. It's definitely not popular with those of us who are kind of in the media and the writing community, though, and this is evident with this other piece of news. Authors, including John Grisham, Jodi Picoult, George R.R. Martin, and others have joined the Author Guild's complaint against OpenAI, and they are accusing the company of training its AI on their work without permission.
Yeah, and this is an issue across many art forms, artists, musicians, writers. Everyone is kind of getting worried about AI basically using their work to replace them. So I think we're going to see a lot of this.
For sure. All right, finally, Kraft Heinz is recalling 83,000 plus cases of American cheese slices due to a wrapper that could stick to the cheese and cause customers to choke. The machine causing the issue has since been fixed.
That's tragic. Well, I think a lot of people would disagree with me, but I personally think there's nothing better than a nostalgic grilled cheese, and I would hate to choke on a wrapper while having that rare delight.
I have more than a few nostalgic grilled cheeses every month, so I'm totally in agreement. All right, let's move on to our main story, something that doesn't feel quite as comfortable and heartwarming as a good grilled cheese, but is nevertheless attractive to lots of people, and particularly lots of people who have lots of money. We're talking about branded residences, and these kind of started out as just like apartments or condos that were associated with like hotel companies. So you'd see something like the Four Seasons would lend its name to an apartment tower and offer maybe a few perks that you might not get in your average residence. But over the last few years, and especially very recently, there have been other brands who are trying to get in on this. Juliet, what are these new brands and how are they involving themselves in real estate?
So for the most part, these are luxury brands. Unfortunately, there is not a craft singles condo.
Damn.
Very disappointed by that. They're mostly like luxury car brands, fashion retailers. Equinox Gym is one. And basically, these are the kind of brands that are always marketing themselves as not just the object that they sell, but like a lifestyle.
Ooh.
And now you can make it your whole life by living in one of these branded condos. I'll give you a few examples. So there's a ton in the Miami area, apparently, in particular.
Wow, shocker that they'd be in Miami.
Yeah. Two in particular that we can talk about were both developed by the same guy, developer Gil Deezer. He is also the one who first licensed former President Donald Trump's name, a la Trump Towers. He has two that I found interesting in Miami. I mean, he has more, but these two are interesting. There's the Porsche Design Tower. That one has 132 units, priced between $4 and $32 million. And it has a special elevator that you can drive. Presumably you drive a Porsche into the elevator, and then it takes your car up, and then your car is kind of like on display in your house.
Wow.
Which is, that's a vibe.
I don't think I would necessarily want that, but it does sound actually really cool.
I mean, I don't even have a car, and I'm like, all right, I can see the appeal. It's kind of like the Batmobile, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
It's like Batman would be into this. The other one was the Residences by Armani. And, Armani, the designer himself, has designed tapestries and chosen furniture. So if you are just really into Armani, there you go. It has 308 units. These are not cheap. The average price is about $4 million, but they are growing. Apparently, the market for luxury branded condos is expected to grow 12% each year through 2026, according to what I read in the New York Times.
Huh. So is there a reason why brands are doing this? Is it good for them to involve themselves in people's lives in this way, at least?
Apparently. Yeah. I mean, I think for hotels, it's kind of an obvious thing.
Yeah.
I've met people who live in hotels. I get it. It's like your business is already basically a home away from home. Why don't you just make that somebody's home? But some of these other brands, they're definitely doing the lifestyle thing. Obviously, they get money from developers and they get licensing fees and all of that. But they also really get to cement themselves as a lifestyle brand. I'm just going to take Equinox as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Equinox is the gym that I go to. And its motto, as I have learned from logging into the app, is it's not fitness, it's life. So your whole life, if you want, could be Equinox. They have hotels, residences, spas, co-working spaces. I'm always being told that I can join Equinox Circle and I can get access to perks, one of which I think is really funny because it's a members only restaurant reservation platform called Dorsia that only has the hottest restaurants in the hottest cities. So like Miami, New York, LA. But what is hilarious to me is that in the book and movie American Psycho, which is, of course, about a serial killing Wall Street guy,
right?
Dorsia is the name of the restaurant he can never get into. So I'm like, did you just name your app after this serial killer movie / book? Okay, great. So that's an example where it's like they want you to really integrate their brand into your life. You're going to the gym there, you're getting a facial there. Then you're going to go, when you go to New York or wherever, you're going to stay in the hotels.
Yeah, I think that for the last several years, as brands have said that they're lifestyle brands, they've gotten a lot of flack for that. Mm-hmm. And I think rightfully so. But now it seems like some of them are kind of backing that up. They really are a lifestyle brand if they are literally on the walls of where somebody is living.
Right. And people are living in them and some of them are sold out. There's no more units left. So obviously it's working. I don't want this in my life, but I think it makes sense for certain people.
Yeah.
I could get why somebody is like, I love this magazine or I love this car or I love my car. I'm a big car person. And yes, I'm going to go live in the condo that caters to my one very specific interest.
Yeah. And speaking of really specific interests, there was another story that I just saw by the street. We've been talking about luxury brands. Mm-hmm. There might even be some non-luxury brands who are starting to get into this. Sports Illustrated is considering launching these kind of resorts that will also feature living spaces dedicated to college fan bases. Oh. So if you love the Alabama Crimson Tide, there's going to be a place for you to live in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, supposedly by 2025. So if a football team is your life, you can really make it your life.
That's amazing.
So, Juliet, I'm curious, if you could live in a building associated with any brand, what would it be?
Ooh, that's a great question. So my friend actually went to the Taco Bell Hotel and had a really great time there. I would not live in the Taco Bell Hotel, although I do find that funny and appealing. Maybe like Blumhouse. Ooh. So I could just live in like a really creepy Victorian Gothic looking building where it's kind of spooky all the time. And maybe there's like a lot of bats and then like pianos that play themselves. I don't know. I don't know what would be in this haunted mansion, but I would live at a Blumhouse haunted mansion, I guess.
Okay, I love it. I would go for something practical. I think I would pick Aldi.
Nice.
Because if I lived like in essentially a grocery store, I wouldn't need to leave the house very often to shop for groceries. I could just get food, drinks, anything I needed, hopefully down like in the lobby of the building. So I would go Aldi.
And everything would be so efficient too.
Yeah.
You'd probably go in and like there's your mail and everything is just so efficient. That would be really nice.
Yeah. And not a lot of choices. So big things.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor today is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clarke. We have a lot more tech and business coverage for you in our newsletter. So if you're not subscribed, please go get signed up. We'll catch you next week.
Let me tell you about a show that I've been loving lately. It's called Entrepreneurs on Fire. It's hosted by the incredible John Lee Dumas. It's available now on the HubSpot Podcast Network. Entrepreneurs on Fire stokes inspiration and shares strategies to fire up your entrepreneurial journey and create the life that you've always dreamed of. I'm a big fan of this podcast. It has energy, it has value, and it's all about learning about entrepreneurship. I was just listening to an episode the other day. JLD interviewed Jay Rogers, who was such a wealth of information. He kind of went into how entrepreneurship chooses you. You don't necessarily choose it, and that failure only happens when you stop trying to win. A lot of gems in this one. So I highly recommend checking out that particular episode along with the rest. So go listen to Entrepreneurs on Fire wherever you get your podcasts. Hey guys, if you listen to the Hustle Daily Show on Google Podcasts, we want to let you know that the option will no longer be available pretty soon. Google is sunsetting its podcast app sometime in early 2024 in favor of YouTube Music, and we want to give you a heads up before it's too late since that time's almost here. The Hustle Daily Show is available everywhere and anywhere that you listen to podcasts like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you're using YouTube Music, we are there as well. If you're an Android fan, there are plenty of apps like Overcast, Pocket Casts, Player FM, and more. So just search for us wherever you decide to listen to your favorite podcasts.